RTC, RubyHornet.com. We're at Vocalo right now, and we are joined by Lupe Fiasco.
Yo, yo.
I guess the first question is, Lasers finally got a release date. Did you ever think like this would be shelved? This would not happen?
Yeah, at one point in the process, it was really like the phone calls to the label. It wasn't even about Lasers. It was about like, yo, we want out. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do we need to do to get out? Do you want some money? Do you want like you want rights to the rest of my songs for the rest of my life? It's a very unproductive situation. So for a while, it was kind of like this album ain't coming out.
Has any of these problems taken away from any of the enthusiasm or your relationship to this project?
Yeah, I would lie if I would say that my heart was in it 100%. I always say that this album is controversial, not because it's full of, when you open up the cover, it's a bunch of naked prostitutes, It's controversial in just the controversy of it actually happening, not even just the music, but the business that went into its creation, the heartache that went into creating it. And it was just kind of like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point? And lost it a few times. I was like, man, whatever. I completely walked away from it, like, whatever, I don't care. And then it was the point where it was just kind of like, it took so long that I started to get off into other projects. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, yo, but what about Lasers? And it was like, ask them. You know what I'm saying? What about Lasers? So I would lie and say if my heart was 100% in Lasers like that, during the creative process. And even now, I still look at it with a certain, because I know the pain that it went through. The public's not going to, they'll probably see it now, but when you listen to the album, you won't hear that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You won't feel that. But for me, it was just kind of like, whatever. But it's, at the same time, it's matched with a certain level of excitement and happiness because it's just getting past it, getting it out, letting fans get it, and to know that I want to put out another album after that. You know what I'm saying? So.
I remember clearly when I got the email from Atlantic and different press releases that the petition right on the day where they were, well, a little bit before they were going to march, everything had changed and you got a release date. And I was driving somewhere and I was like, my first thought was, wow, maybe this will have a bigger impact on the music industry. Maybe more power will be translated to the artist if this could happen. And I'm just wondering, will this really make a change in how these record labels do business, or was this like one gesture, here you go, you can have this small victory?
No, it will not change the way they do business. It'll change the way they do business with me, But I'm just a small guy, but with a very big mouth, with fans who have very big mouths, And I carry a lot of weight, because you can't just knock 9 Grammy nominations. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't knock some of the other accolades that we've received, and you can't knock the amount of force that we have internationally just as a brand, as Lupe Fiasco. That's what their whole thing was. We want to be responsible for maximizing the commercial potential of Lupe Fiasco and being able to come in and say, hey, we did that, And that was it. That was the whole point of this whole standoff and the whole corporate espionage and intrigue and everything that went into it.
I've read the Lasers manifesto a few times, and again even today. It's pretty powerful stuff, and I'm just wondering, through all this, do you go back to this, and does this kind of give you, when you were saying you thought the album may be shelved indefinitely, and what is all this for? Does this ever ground you and say this is what it's for?
Yeah. It definitely reminds me, that it was, and I'm kind of glad that I did that so long ago. Because it set precedent for me to go back to when I was losing that faith, and it was like, man, whatever. And then the manifesto would be there, and when the kids came down and did the protest, they had lines from the manifesto on their things, and it's just like, yo, and with hearing some leaked songs but not hearing the album, and not hearing the full body of work, and to see that it was a force, to see it was like, oh man, they really rocking with that, it definitely keeps me going to know that the message is out there. As you can see, it's on the back of the promo material. It feels good.
We want to end to the glamorization of negativity in the media.